It's really hard to admit this and to...
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, children get older, and I'm getting older too.
I can't believe I got 60 days of a streak. Like when I saw 60, I nearly died.
You're seriously crushing it.
I can't believe it's been over a year since I posted this video about restarting my fitness journey from scratch after 2 babies back to back. And let me tell you, it's been a ride. It's been transformational in ways that you will not see in a before and after. Like, the real transformation is in how I feel in my body, how I feel on a day-to-day basis energetically, how I feel about myself. I'm 35 and I'm at peak fitness for myself right now. Literally this is my Oura ring, and I did the cardio capacity test, and it went up to peak. Just a handful of months ago, it was at high, and earlier this year, I had no capacity for anything because I had a huge mental and physical breakdown. If you're watching this and you're feeling stuck, if you're thinking, right, that's it, I'm never going to feel like myself again, everything has changed and I just have to accept that, let me stop you right there. I was you. Twice in my life, I've reached what I would consider my rock bottom in terms of health, mentally and physically, and I've gotten to here, and it is possible to get here. I've learned that you really don't have to be perfect. It's just about showing up consistently. Spoiler, I truly couldn't have rebuilt my body, gotten all my muscles back without Train Well. This will be my 5th year using their personal training service. They used to be called Co-Pilot. They're now called Train Well, and I am delighted that they're the paid partner of this video. And what that means is they're offering every single one of you 2 weeks of free training. 2 free weeks via the link below or this QR code on screen. 2 weeks is definitely long enough to get a taster, to build that habit into your routine. But yeah, I just want to go back to the start and let's just have a little bit of story time first. Because, I don't know, it just helps me when I'm trying to get all motivated and inspired to like change my life, change my habits. I love listening to people's stories and relating to them. Do share your stories in the comments as well. But for me, when I was a child and a teenager, I was relatively active. I was never super fit or anything like that, but I played sports in school and that kind of thing. I'd walk to school and back from school. It was a long walk. I was active enough. And it was in my late teens that I just got real lazy, lost all fitness, started comfort eating, gained a lot of weight. When it came to losing that weight, I started cooking for myself and eating a bit better. Joined a gym, and I just thought I had to run and sweat, and that was all about just doing loads of cardio. So I'd be running on a treadmill and staring at the calories burned on the treadmill because I was just convinced it was all this mathematical thing. And yeah, it felt horrible. I wasn't exercising for any of the health benefits. At the time, I didn't really look at exercise as anything other than a tool that would help me to reach my goal, which was to look like Tomb Raider. I wanted Lara Croft's body, and that was all I cared about. Because I was just doing a ton of cardio, like I was doing the odd dance class and things like that, but it was lots of cardio, so I did lose a lot of weight. People use the term skinny fat a lot, but that's kind of how I felt. I didn't feel really like I'd lost as much body fat as I had because I still didn't really have any muscle. I was very thin and slim, but I still felt weak and squidgy, and I didn't like that. And I also just, couldn't see in the mirror my progress. Like, that's kind of when a lot of body dysmorphia started creeping into my brain, and my self-talk. Cut to me in college in my early 20s. So I am undiagnosed ADHD, right? I'm pulling all-nighters to get through exams, and I juggle eating disorders during this time. I latched onto disordered eating patterns to help me cope with perfectionism, deep-rooted body image issues, and emotional regulation problems, challenges. All of this was likely very related to the ADHD, but I'm sure lots of you relate. Like I just wanted so badly to have this perfect body, and in the eyes of my ex, that was to be very, very petite and toned. I remember I'd be going to the university gym multiple times a week, living off chopped up fruit and veg. So I was just really overworking my body and not fueling it correctly at all. Not good. I was wasting away. There's pictures of me getting ready for nights out with like a completely flat bum, like my muscles were atrophying, like it was bad. Bodies are very intelligent. My body wanted to regulate itself. So then it was giving me this insane appetite, literally trying to keep me alive. And then combine that with dopamine-seeking ADHD. Now looking back, I believe that these things are what led me to developing binge eating disorder, which was very like bulimia. I just wasn't throwing up. I was overeating an insane amount. It was horrendous. And then I was over-exercising to purge. So I would restrict and over-exercise in between these huge, unbelievable binges. And I'd always binge on ultra-processed food. Always. I've made videos this year about food, but yeah, the over-exercising between these binges would look like, you know, going out for a long run before college. So I'd get up at like 6 a.m, go for this big long run in the dark, and then sometimes going to the gym later that day, and also doing like an hour of walking. I did a lot of work on recovery from the food issues, but I could never nail exercise and fitness, right? It was always all or nothing. So many times in my life, I've been like, right, I'm doing a routine, I'm doing this little mini trampoline, or I'm gonna do this DVD, the Gillian Michaels 30-day shred, and and then it would gather dust under my bed. Or I'd get a gym membership and I'd go for a week, and then that was it. I'd miss one day and I was like, oh, well, sure, I might as well stop now.
It was the first run we did together in weeks, absolute weeks. We've become so lazy, and I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little bit sluggish.
I even bought a bike, like a bicycle, and I used to go cycling and I loved it, and then just forgot about it. I realised that ADHD has very much seeped into my relationship with caring for my body. Yeah, when I'm like 25, 26, I just think fitness is something that other people have figured out. It's not for me. I'm never going to be good at it. I don't know how to be consistent. I'd lose and gain the same 10, 15 pounds over and over and over again. My focus always fell back on that little bit of pudge rather than on muscle and like, what will my body be able to do when I'm 75? All of the really important things. So enter my husband, my now husband. He stepped into the picture in 2017. We were already friends. We'd done some races together, like running, and I'd seen him at the gym during some of my little like, oh, I'm going to the gym now, and then I'd stop. But he was always really consistent with exercise. He was like Mr. Fitness. And I was not fit when we started dating. Thomas wasn't judgmental at all about my lack of fitness. He was the total opposite. He was really supportive and encouraging when I showed interest, but he never ever said anything or made me feel like, I essentially just wanted to spend more time with him and connect more with him. And that led me to be interested in the things that he was interested in. And something that they say, but they really don't teach you when you're young, is how much of an influence the people around you have on you. Surround yourself with people with similar goals and values and stuff. Even if you don't have that at home or in your immediate circle, you can find like a gym buddy, or you can pay for one. That's what Trainwell are so great for, and we'll be getting into that now in a second. But yeah, Thomas, he taught me about moving to feel good. You know, he really modeled fitness to me as self-care. Like, he didn't do it to punish himself. He worked out for all of the right reasons, and that just really rubbed off on me. I fell head over heels in love with the gym, and I started weight training like mad, lifting heavier and heavier and more consistently, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, then 4 days a week. By 2019, I was the strongest and healthiest that I had ever been up to that point. I felt like unbelievable, eating well, lifting heavy. I just felt so good in clothes. I felt so capable, so full of energy. I was at the point where I was like, right, I want to get a personal trainer and really see how far I can go with this, because it had become one of the most rewarding aspects of my life. Like, the part of the day that I looked forward to the most was the gym and coming home from the gym, and that feeling of accomplishment and just all of the lovely stuff, like the chemicals that gets released in your body. It was like a drug. And up until that point in my life, I had all these other issues with addictions to things that were not healthy for me, but exercise was a great addiction to have. And then the pandemic hit, and then I got pregnant. I'm sitting here in my kids' room because the children, that was the biggest change in my life. And yeah, 2020, September 2020, I have my little boy. January 2023, I have my little girl. And while they are the best things in my life, I wouldn't change a single thing about the process of getting to this stage. But like, my mind and body were both absolutely wrecked, like wrecked. In the aftermath of each baby, I was running on caffeine and maternal anxiety. I did try to stay fit. I did. You know, I was doing the odd bit of workout here, or, you know, using my Fitbit and making myself try and get my steps up. But exclusively breastfeeding on demand just had me completely wiped. Just, breastfeeding is a career in and of itself, and it took so much of my time and my energy. Most days I didn't even have the energy to brush my hair, let alone work out. I didn't want to do it. And that is where Train Well changed everything for me. And I say that from the depths of my soul. If it wasn't for them, I don't know where I'd be right now. I really don't. So Train Well enters the chat after my first baby, my son. I knew I needed help figuring out where to start. I couldn't really rely on my husband because, you know, it was the pandemic. He was going through his own stuff, nearly lost his career. We couldn't even go to a gym. Just everything had changed. And this happens in life. And maybe you're there right now where just you've had some huge life changes and you're just like, how do I go from here to there? Like, I had no time or headspace to plan workouts. And in my experience up to that point as well, like, I know that there's free access to certain workouts online and that kind of a thing. But what got me fit in 2019 was the slow progression, you know, like slowly adding sets and reps and weight onto workouts so that you're kind of constantly building. And I wanted to rebuild my body. I didn't want to just like continue on doing the same 30-minute walk every day or the same yoga video from YouTube, even though those things are brilliant. And I cannot express that enough. Those things are really important and were a huge part of my physical and mental transformation. Walking in nature, doing the odd bit of yoga, doing a bit of a movement snack. So like a movement snack is just, I don't know, a few squats while the kettle's on, or you're out in the garden playing with the kids and you just start crawling all over the garden. I still do things like that, and Train Well have added in optional extras. So I have my workouts, they do my workouts throughout the week planned out, then the optional extras I can click in and do those as well. When I first started with Train Well, I wasn't going to the gym. I had a few weights in the house, and Jill, my trainer, I'm still with Jill, but she just made it really simple for me. She started me small. I said to her, like, look, I have lost all of my strength in my abs. I'm so weak. And, you know, she started me so small. And you might feel like it's not doing anything. You know, you're doing a 10-minute workout with just the weight of your body, and it might feel like, no, I need to be doing way more. You might be seeing all these fitness influencers and comparing yourself where you're at right now to like what they're doing. You cannot jump ahead. That's something that I needed a personal trainer for. I am the type of person who will try and do too much. Like, it's very hard for me to just do little and often, and consistency being key here. I was saying this to my dad. My dad is retiring soon, and I've told him he is absolutely signing up to train well, because he keeps going on about how he's going to get weights and stuff like that. The man doesn't even walk. You can't just dive in at the deep end. So yeah, after each of my babies, I just wanted to get to a place where I could keep up with my kids. I didn't even really have like goals for how I looked or anything like that. I was just like, please just get me back to some level of feeling like a human being, Jill, please. And, you know, so she'd give me these short little workouts that I could put on with Peppa Pig blaring in the background to keep the kids from climbing all over me, which they very often do when I'm working out. Yeah, train well would keep me showing up, and slowly old clothes would start to fit and I'd be able to carry the kids without pain. And then I'd kind of get to a place where I just want to stay there. I just didn't really want to keep... It's really hard to admit this and to... A few things were holding me back. I think sometimes many of us sabotage ourselves, sabotage our own fitness goals. You know, we might dream of being a certain way in the world and being that girl who goes power walking in the forest with her friends. We might have this vision in our minds of how we see ourselves, and we might not let ourselves do the things we need to do in order to be that, because deep down we don't believe we deserve the life we want, the body we want, you know, the feeling, the way we want to feel. Like, we can have such a level of like low self-worth, such a fear of change. I've had fear of change ever since my parents' divorce. Like, my whole life, change just has always really scared me, especially after having children. I think it's really common to feel like we're not allowed to want more, you know. We're kind of told, like, look, you have beautiful, healthy children and you're a mother now, and that's it. You become a mother and you don't have time for yourself anymore, and your body's different, and that's just it, and you just have to accept it and deal with it. And, you know, I've talked before about how I feel about body positivity, body neutrality. There is a place for those things, for sure, but it's also really hard when you get into these conversations as well with your friends, and you realise that you do lie to yourself. Like, you can be telling yourself these stories. You know, I was telling myself the story that it's fine that I'm just going to lie on the couch day after day, eating nothing but frozen pizzas, because right now that's all I feel able for. And I believed that story, and the longer I believed that story, the worse and worse I felt. And then when my son started preschool and was bringing home viruses, I was just getting sicker and sicker, and I was constantly sick, because the thing is, we are designed to move. We are designed to eat foods that come from the planet, the ground, the trees, animals. We can be the biggest roadblock for ourselves.
I want to ask, like, what do you feel it really is about this time around that has like stuck so well for you?
I think the biggest thing that has changed is that I hit such a low earlier this year with my health that it really scared me. And I hate saying that, but it's like with my dad, he had a heart attack and that's what made him quit smoking. You know, it's like I had such a scare, and I've never valued my health as much as I do now. I'm realizing the more I'm talking in therapy that I have almost felt like subconsciously like I didn't deserve to prioritize myself because I had to focus on the kids all the time, or like I'm a mom now, so like I shouldn't care so much about how I look and this kind of a thing. And actually it's more important than ever that I'm really healthy and strong. Something that doesn't help me when I'm feeling like that is kind of having those stories and those beliefs like reinforced by other people online, because that's what happens with algorithms. Like anytime I was telling myself stories of like, oh, you know about like, oh, it's okay to just be lazy, and I'm really tired. Like I always feel more energy when I've exercised. It makes me less tired. And so yeah, it's a lie that you're telling yourself. There's also the other end of the spectrum where you have people saying like everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. That is not true. When you have children and a job and a house renovation and all kinds of other things going on in your life, that's not the same as when you have no children and your landlord does everything for you, for your house. And yeah, like people are in very different situations. However, I have learned that I can cook food and do some squats at the same time. While my kids are having their breakfast, I can fit in a 15-minute train well workout that is very, very manageable and easy to do, or during the kids' nap time, or in the evening before I go to bed. All I have to sacrifice is 15 or 20 minutes of scrolling on my phone. Look at your screen time on your phone. Please look at your daily screen time. Comment it in the comments. I dare you. I dare you. How long you spend scrolling, maybe on Instagram, maybe on Facebook, whatever. You can fit, if you're watching this video, you could be moving your body right now and not watching this. I needed to do a bit of work behind the scenes to really make this work for myself, this personal training and stuff like that. And that was like some mental work. I had my little breakdown. I did lots of therapy. I let go of deeply ingrained beliefs that I don't deserve to feel confident and proud in my skin as a mother. Beliefs that I can't view myself as a sexual being anymore. Judgment if I dared to prioritize myself and my wellness. Guilt about seeming vain for, wanting my body back. Obviously, I'm not talking about snapback culture. I'm so against the whole, you have a baby and then you back to the way you were. I hate that. But I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and only recently am I feeling like back to pre-kids me. So I allowed myself time to really figure out motherhood without having this ridiculous pressure on myself to just get back at it, like just for appearances. It wasn't about appearances. It was about me and how I felt about myself and how I felt in my body. I had to reclaim my right to exist in a body that feels like home to me. I didn't want my body to be this source of limitation or shame. I didn't want to be lying to myself about like, oh yeah, no, I feel great like this, because I just didn't. And I did share that, like I didn't feel good about my body when I had no strength and when I had a lot of extra body fat that I wasn't used to having. And when I let go of that belief that I was unworthy, I stopped sabotaging myself. I stopped sabotaging my progress. I said to my trainer, look, I want to see muscles on my body. I want to meet 2019 Melanie again. I miss her. I want to pick up where I left off pre-pandemic, because, we all see those memes about, it's 2020 and then you blink and then it's 2025, and it does feel like that to some extent. Like that pandemic did a lot of damage to a lot of us, and I just didn't want to look back at my life and view it as before the pandemic and after the pandemic, and that I was two different people and that was it. No. Coming back better than ever, baby. So when my health fell apart earlier this year, Trainwell really helped me to pick myself off the floor. I couldn't even walk. I would get out of breath walking. for 10 minutes. That's how unfit I was. And it wasn't just about unfitness though. There was just something going on with my nervous system. I was like stuck in fight or flight mode. I was just experiencing all these insane symptoms. Like my body needed some TLC, and my body needed to learn that movement was safe. So I had to focus on when I would walk, like smiling, listening to happy music, releasing the tension in my shoulders. Myself and Trainwell were trying to like work around this elephant in the room that was like a health collapse, and they were amazing with that. Like they were so encouraging of rest and recovery. They just get it. They immediately change things around in your plans. They remove workouts. The Trainwell app, it will ask you, is this workout too easy? Is it just right? Is it too hard? They look for feedback on the workouts, and then you book in calls with your trainer every so often. Even some weeks like I want an extra workout or one less workout, and I just communicate that with them, and they're like a little genie. They just do it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so for this week, because I know you had texted me about adjusting the schedule. I'll move Christmas to Thursday for you, and then add the core glute and mobility to Monday.
Brilliant. Can I ask, do you work out on Christmas Day? No.
Absolutely not.
So yeah, earlier this year, it was just gentle stretching and very low impact exercises. It reminded me that fitness, it's not all about always going harder. It's about listening to your body, and that was a huge lesson for me. And when I was terribly unfit and doing nothing, my body was screaming at me like, this is not good. My body has become my guide, and how I feel after the workouts and on days between workouts, that is what guides my trainer in her plans for me. Now I'm doing like 3 workouts a week. 2 of them are quite intense, and then one of them is a bit easier. That's my Sunday workout. I always look forward to that. And it just is something I don't have to think about because of Trainwell. Like I don't have to do any planning at all. I have decision fatigue already. Like, what are the kids going to eat? What are they going to wear? Having this like press play and just go get it over with solution for my fitness has been a game changer. As big of a game changer as having a meal delivery service. Having someone to hold you accountable and help you to go in this direction in terms of your strength, whatever goals you have. I am getting stronger every day right now, and Trainwell is constantly adjusting to my progress, slowly adding weights. I bought this little weights set, and I have these like heavier weights, and my son just keeps being like, when are you going to start using these ones? And I'm like, the fact that I'm using weights at all is a miracle. I didn't know how to get back to a place where I was using weights. And and he uses the little blue ones now that I started with. Now my 4-year-old uses them and does workouts with me. Yeah, Jill can make the sessions longer. She can add more intensity. She can add more sessions per week. I feel like we have so much scope for like increasing this, and for me getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And really next year I feel like I am going to be Lara Croft. I'm going to be able to crush a human skull with my thighs.
I feel like you have full capability of reaching that and getting to where you've been envisioning yourself for, since we've started working together.
But yeah, Jill never adds more than I can handle, She just is like this personal trainer that I have in my pocket cheering me on. But I don't have like that pressure of being in a gym with an actual personal trainer standing over me, watching me fail if I need to take a breather, because she can't see me while I'm working out, you know what I mean? She's not looking at me huffing and puffing and sweating, so it suits me better. I love how I feel. I love that I'm able to throw my children around now. I can play what my son calls the lion game, where I'm pretending to be Scar and he's pretending to be Simba, and we're like fighting. And yeah, I can like lift my daughter up over my head. I just feel so unbelievable. And I can't believe that this is possible with such easy, I say easy, but they're genuinely, like, the workouts are not insane. They've been very manageable and easy to fit in, and I'm not like dripping with sweat after them. They're just the right amount of movement, and like, I don't have these agonizing sore muscles the next day either. Like, it's just been perfect, the perfect amount of an increase with each week to be moving in the right direction. Yeah, so I'm making this video not just for the busy mums, but anyone who's watching this and just feeling ridiculously overwhelmed, thinking fitness is this big complicated thing where you have to be in a gym, popping veins in your head. No, you don't. I love having this platform and being able to give you 2 weeks of free personal training. Like, it feels so good to be able to offer that. These 2 weeks might be the thing that changes everything for you. Like, it might start this snowball effect in your life, this ripple effect, and I really hope it does. Whether you have 10 minutes to work with a day or an hour, whether you're starting with stretches or literally lifting weights, it is all progress. It is all going to make you feel better in your body, and you do deserve to feel good in your body to start. And that's all you have to do, is just start. Just start. Just stand up right now and do this with me. Just do a little, just hold a squat with me, just while we're chatting. Go on. Or are you on a train? Is that going to be really embarrassing? Or are you at work? Get back to work. I will be here cheering you on. Please update me in the comments in a little bit, a couple of months, couple of weeks, but after you've done your trial, after you've reached your goals even, just keep up with me. If this video has made any impact on you whatsoever, I want to know. I want us to cheer each other on in the comments. And yeah, here's to having children not being the end of the road, like so many people want you to believe. You have kids and then you just give up on your body. But no, you need your body to be working more than ever, and your children need you to care about your body and you to set an example for them. So I'm gonna go and do today's workout with Jill. Actually really looking forward to it. I never dread these workouts anymore. Who is she? I wish I could go back and tell my 20-year-old self that one day I'll love exercising. I'll see you in my next video, and do stick around, because in 2025 there's gonna be some months